Yo, what's good? We're back. We haven't done this in a minute. It's actually, it has been that long. It's been 2 minutes. I'm sorry, not 2 minutes. It feel like it's okay. You know what? Minute. It's been 2 minutes. It's been 2 minutes.
Working.
Too much of the Ciroc watermelon. Yo, shout out to the homie Damien. It's been 2 weeks since we done our last episode of Hoops and Brews. Shout out to our special guest in the building. Go ahead, talk to the people, introduce yourself, get your plug off to start it off.
My name is Jack Manson. I am a fashion designer and stylist for Jamie Foxx, as well as a former strength and conditioning coach for the New Orleans Hornets, now the Pelicans.
Okay, all right, cool. So how long were you a strength and conditioning coach?
7.5 years.
Okay, how did you like that experience? What made you decide to turn heel and go in the fashion world?
Well, I've always liked clothes.
Mm-hmm.
The backstory of it is I always loved clothes, and I wanted to go to school for art and fashion. And my parents said they weren't going to pay for art.
For art and fashion, that's like, we're not paying.
So
probably,
you need to find something to go, So I actually went into school for medicine and got a degree as a physician assistant, and then went back to the university and taught for about 5 years.
Okay, and then you ventured on out to the NBA. So what's life as someone who has no real context in regards to that's not me, by the way. I'm not taking the shot. That's not me. That's a guess. It's all good. We got a rule on here: if your phone rings, you take a shot. But that's like, it's not, obviously not like, but it's like if one of our phone rings,
all right, here we go.
Take a shot. Jack's drinking water. But what's the life like for a strength and conditioning coach? Like, what are the main objectives, like, kind of the day-to-day life? What does that look like?
Well, it's a lot of tasks, because you have to really connect with the players. First and foremost, they got to trust you. That you're not going to hurt them or anything like that. But the main objective is to get them to play 82 games, and playing 82 games of basketball along with practice is a lot.
It's a lot, man. That's not even including playoffs. The playoffs is about 90. So one question I want to ask before we continue. Obviously, you were with the Pelicans, Hornets then, Pelicans now.
Well, no, I'm not with the Pelicans. I was with the Hornets.
You was with the Hornets before the. Okay, but still, that was the franchise. So Zion, if you were Zion's strength and conditioning coach, what would be your objectives for him?
I mean, one, I think that he has to first be able to keep up with the volume of work that's about to happen. He was, one and done? Pretty much.
One and done.
So when you look at it from the standpoint of a young man who's still developing, what have you, and at the most, in his high school and, the year at Duke, he's played maybe 26 games. Now he's going from 26 to 82. That's 4 years of basketball in one season. So it's
you've never really experienced anything like that.
I remember rookies coming in, and vets would have the over and under when they was going to tap out.
Really?
So it's like
okay. Is
game
that
39,
serious?
game 41, game 43, what have you.
I mean, because everybody talks about that rookie wall, and it's like usually around like January is when you hit because it's just like you just really just, and I've also heard that obviously coming in as a rookie is probably, unless you play with the Olympics, like the most basketball you'll end up playing in like one calendar year.
Right.
Especially at that age, you gotta think like you went through your whole college season. If you went in tournament, those games, you probably played summer league.
Right.
Then you had the workouts. Then you had preseason. Then you had the season all in 1 year.
Right.
And also at like his weight, which is, I mean, people estimate he's like 300 pounds. I personally think he's more like 280 right now, but he's still like 6'6". Like, what would be your objectives for him as far as just his weight and, controlling that?
I mean, also getting him to, you raised a good point, getting him to understand his diet, and how to take care of his body, and particularly his weight, because as he gets older, it's going to be harder to sort of control that weight thing. And his work ethic. I mean, it's no doubt that he has work ethic, but I mean, when you start getting that kind of volume on your body, it's going to change a little bit. So it's eating habits, and then understanding, really how to take care of his body. That would be, one of the major objectives, because a lot of times, at college, I'm sure he got some experience, but and he went to a top-notch college, so he learned something about nutrition because of that program. But coming right out of high school, I'm sure
he ain't going to New Orleans.
Yeah,
Also New Orleans.
Not in New Orleans.
Also New Orleans. It's not like you went to LA or something. You get a lot of pasta, you get some gumbo, you can get a lot of that. It's not like a lot of sauce. Not like you went to LA, where you can go and get some vegan food at 3 a.m. It ain't really like that. You in like New Orleans and you already, especially with like his. Because for me with Zion, that was one of my main concerns is his weight and him being the type of player he is. How are you going to sustain that throughout an 82-game season, year after year after year, without piling up mileage and like really injuring yourself with the way he plays and at his weight? Like that's a lot of force coming down on those limbs. It's not like you the tallest guy, so it's not like that weight ain't like you 7 feet.
Right.
So if you 7 feet 280, that weight is going to a lot of places. If you 6 feet, well not 6 feet, 6'6", 280. Ain't really that many places for the way to go, and over a 82-game season, you jumping up and down countless amounts of times, especially with how high he gets up. Just like my worry is like, how are you going to sustain that year after year for 82 games?
Well, the thing about the game too is that you get better because that's your job now. You're not splitting it with school and other responsibilities.
Same thing Kobe said.
So you have to take it as now the game that you play, is now the thing that feeds my kids
it feeds my family.
Feeds my family and everything else, what have you. So, there's a lot that goes into that. But he'll be fine. It'll be an adjustment because again, it's a change in volume. He hasn't played this many games. And at this intensity. He's playing with other men that have been playing 12, 13 years.
13 years of basketball.
Vets that going, so, you wonder how they stay on the floor, year in and year out. It ain't because they're getting faster and stronger. It's
take care of their bodies.
They take care of their body and they got a wisdom about it. So there's little things about the game that he's going to learn that, vets will put you in a trick bag. Two of the things, to one of your points, I was watching Kobe's Muse documentary, and he was like, the reason why I wanted to go straight to the league, like and bypass college was because I can just get better than you because you physically can't practice as much as me. You just can't do it. Like you have other responsibilities. If I go to the league, I have no other responsibility besides playing basketball. That's my life. And also, he said one of the things that Mike told him was that MJ knew how to get rest mid-game. He was like, okay, like I'm tired tonight. Okay, so how can I still be effective but still get rest? So you know what? Let me go in the post tonight. It's not going. I'm not going to bang too much. It's not going to be too much energy. I can't. There's like still ways to get rest mid-game. So I think that those are probably some of the things that veterans know. Like, okay, tonight, you know what? I don't 100% have it. So let me pick my spots. Let me make the game easier for me tonight because I know like it's a back-to-back. We played 3 games in 5 nights. I'm tired tonight, but I still want to go out there and I got to be effective for my team. Right. I mean, the other trick bag to that is like he's got new money.
Which is
I'm not saying he's gonna turn into some no animal or this, that, and the other and do just crazy stuff. But we don't know. But it's definitely his life is definitely gonna change.
That
right.
And
so
also, I think that access to money also helps you take care of your body better. Which is why I think if you look at the 90s, the reason why some players' careers didn't last so long, they weren't getting paid as much. Like now, I mean, LeBron making, I don't know how much money LeBron got, but I'm sure the man can get the best care possible on earth because you got the money to pay for it.
Yeah, he covers the WNBA, so he's been on this. The training isn't the same thing for a minute, which I agree with, but I'm just saying, so kind of.
Yeah, the thing I see with WNBA a lot is like they don't really, because of like they aren't making the same amounts of money, they don't really have the resources to get better. So that they can really only get better on company time. Like if they, let's say I'm bored, it's an off day, it's 8 p.m. I want to go get some more shots up.
Right.
Unless I know somebody with a gym. But if I'm in a new city, like how do I even know people like that unless I'm hanging out with people with gyms? Also, I might have to pay for that gym as well. I might have to pay for that time. Also, I may not even be privileged to the same training that other people are privileged to because I don't have the money to afford it. And the teams don't even have the facilities to be able to keep them in-house. Like one of the things I remember I was watching like Gilbert's podcast, he was talking about like Dwight. He was like, Dwight, he told the Magic, like, yo, if y'all want us to get better, then you should, like, give us meals. You should, like, build things in, like, the team facilities to keep us in-house. Because when we out, you know, we 18, 19, 20, 21, and we bored, we gonna eat Burger King. We gonna do other things. But if you put all of this stuff just in one place and we can get better while we're doing it, it'll, in turn, benefit on the court.
Well, I mean, I think you're talking about a couple of different things. One is that there is sexism in sports.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Huge sexism, and particularly in male-dominated sports.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree.
If you just look at the soccer situation, the women's U.S. soccer team done won a couple of championships, but you know, in the off season they back at regular jobs. They're not, you know, they're making enough money playing professional soccer that they can really take care of their families. Whereas the men, they're getting $250 million contracts, what have you. So let's call it what it is.
I didn't even realize that until I literally started covering WNBA and started talking about it, and then people would say things like, "Oh, the girls don't play hard." Like, what?
No, it's
what?
I mean,
what?
Yeah, like
that's why I said they don't play. Like, look, if you want to say the athleticism is insane, that's fair. Obviously, it's fair. But literally, somebody came in our mentions, but not our mentions, our YouTube, and said they don't play as hard as the men.
The only thing that I will say in regards to that is I've always said that the difference between the men's game and the women's game is just like is the physicality combined with the athleticism. Women's game is physical, like they don't call no fouls in the WNBA at all. But the men's game is physical mixed with the athleticism. I've never once looked at a WNBA game or a women's soccer game or a women's softball game back when I used to watch baseball a lot, and really, because I actually really did enjoy women's softball, the underhand, you know, kind of fast pitch. I never looked at it and was like, oh, they aren't playing hard. They just like, la la la, like, nah. If you saying that, then you wilding out. It's a big difference between like not seeing the ferocity of a Zion Williamson versus saying somebody ain't trying to put effort.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they professionals at the highest level of that particular thing. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. Every time I hear it, it always is like, stop it, man.
But I kind of look at it like, I mean, there's pros and cons to watching both of the sports, men's basketball and women's basketball. Mm-hmm. And I think you're absolutely right when, you know, you talk about the physicality and the athleticism. I mean, what we see in men's sports is, you know, we get to see 360 dunks. We get to see, you know, all kinds of crazy explosive moves.
Mikal Bridges Euro stepped, went off 1 foot, and windmilled the ball in a summer league game.
So that's what we see in male sports. In women's basketball, though, what you're going to see is more execution. So
100%.
you're going to see, because they don't have
100%.
you know, that kind of explosiveness, what have you, you're going to see them set good screens and roll off of picks and you know, distribute the ball the way the ball's supposed to. So it's like watching the old Boston Celtics.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, but that's the only part of the women's game that I don't appreciate, is that they need to speed the game up. Like it feels, the style of it feels a little bit older. The physicality of the screens is there. The first WNBA game I went to was the Seattle Storm versus the LA Sparks. It was a preseason game in what was the equivalent of a high school gymnasium. Number 23 or 24 for the Seattle Storm. She's a heavier, you know, woman. Got rocked on the screen. Like, I mean,
they didn't call it out.
They didn't call it out.
And she got rocked.
It looked like somebody in the NFL. Like when you see somebody with a helmet, she was laid out for minutes. Yeah. So it's not about they not playing hard enough. If you saw that screen and everybody in the arena was silent, you know, so much of the tune, her parents came over and was like, "Are you all right?" That kind of thing. It's a real thing in terms of that, but the execution is there. I definitely agree the execution is there, but they got to speed up the game.
Here's my thing. Like, I think when we talk about WNBA and these things, we have to realize it's only been around 23 years. If we look at what the NBA was created in the 50s, maybe
no, it was early in the 30s. It started in the 30s, and the actual NBA was like more in the 50s. But 50s. Basketball as a game started like late 30s.
The real NBA started in like the 50s. So if you look at the first 23 years, I put them at like the 70s. If this wasn't the same game that you looking at today, and also even still, like, we just now getting to the point where you have women athletes that grew up and never knew a world when it didn't exist. So like, if you my age, there was a time in which there was no WNBA. Like, I grew up with a woman who like always used to hoop. Like, when she was born, there was no WNBA. So it's like, when you're born, from the time you're like 4 or 5 years old, you can't aspire to be this because it didn't exist. We're just not getting to the point in which women can inspire to be that from the time they're like 5, 6 years old. Like, I was covering this part, they had a camp day the other day. I'm like, yo, this is great to have a camp day. Like, even if you know, you can affect one like young girl who's like 8, 9 years old, like, yo, this is cool, I want to do this, or like, I want to take a liking to these people, they look like me, I want to do this, I can do this. And also now for parents, it's like you said, when you was like your parents were like, yo, we not paying for fashion school, because at that point in time, it's like, it didn't really seem like something, it seemed like a viable option, as in like, that's the same with some girl, like, nah, we not putting you in like basketball, like, nah, go do choir or some shit, because that seems more like a viable option as opposed to like playing basketball. Like now, no, this has been around 23 years, you see it. Even you got parents who grown up and it's been around 23 years now. So even, I just think that you're getting to the point where the athletes are getting better because they're training for it more. Like even if, when I look now, like, okay, I can tell that you've trained for this for a very long time, because of even something simple as like the shot motions. The shot motions I see now are totally different from what I saw like 10 years ago from women. Like you can tell like they probably trained to have the shot motion. Like I can tell you've had a trainer for a while. So I think when people just say things about the league, it's like, yo, we all got to remember that like it's still a very, very young. It's only been around 23 years. The athletes will get better, the play will get better, everything will get better. And also, I'm with you. Like I think if you enjoy basketball, you can appreciate like the WNBA. Which is even, I have my dad watching. My dad is like 63. He was like, yeah, it's actually a little bit more fundamental than what the men's game is, because it have to be. Like, they don't have the same athletes. It's like you just can't ISO every play and think that you're going to get a bucket, because it's just not going to work like that. You got to set great screens. You got to execute. You got to do things like that. So I also think sometimes, like, the fact that we're in, like, highlight culture now, like, you know, you can go on YouTube and, like, watch a whole highlight of, like, the whole game, but that's not, like, really watching the game and watching the nuances of the game. I just think some people don't like basketball the way they think they like basketball.
Well, I'm gonna go on record and say this, like, this society is built around sex.
That too.
Right. And what we look at in commercials and everything else, and we look on YouTube and Instagram and, you know, whatever social media channels, a lot of it is sex driven.
That too.
Right. So, like in the male sport, you know, the women want to see the guy's legs and shoulders, arms out, and this, that, and the other.
You gotta want to see the women.
So it's kind of sexy, what have you. Female basketball doesn't necessarily have that.
I agree.
So, like, and also it's a different culture. It's an LGBT culture as well. Mm-hmm. So, like, for a lot of people, that's hard for them to swallow. You know what I'm saying? And it makes them uncomfortable. So, putting that up there as the forefront, you know, unless they really want to gain traction, that's why, you know, a couple of these basketball players, they become, you know, sex symbols because they're cute, you know. So, you know, they start to get popularity, and they can't play worth a damn, but, you know, but I'm not saying they
Chris
can't,
Humphries, the Kardashians, you know, definitely got him that second contract.
They're good looking, so they take advantage of the fact that they got a national platform to play basketball, this, that, and the other, and they're good looking. Whereas a lot of the players in the WNBA, that's not, you know, their platform.
Except for I think the newer generation of women are different. Yeah. Like Liz Cambage posted an Instagram
and I was like,
snap yesterday where she was in, I don't know where it was.
I think she was like a sauna or something like that. And I'm like,
it was dark. And the only thing that were covered in that post were her breasts, and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, welcome to WNBA."
But look, shout
out to Liz Cambage.
No, but look, I think that's coming, and I think that's, I think that's more with when we talk about pay wages and things like that. Like, number one, to get paid more, you got to bring in more money. So I think that like the women in the league are more cognizant of like just their brands now.
Well, and
I think it's coming.
And I agree with you. And when that happens, you will see a difference in audience, you know, participation, and, you know, so because fans will come because they want to see that girl they saw in the post and this, that, and the other, and she's got a following, and we're following her, and this, that, and the other, and da. So she'll be a brand that the WNBA will have to sort of embrace symbiotically, because they'll use that platform to make money.
I think that what the league needs, now forgive me for saying this, but I've said this in like multiple conversations with people and everything else, it's like a woman who's a guard, like 5'10" to like 6'1", so not like she's like, you know, 6'8", 5'10" to 6'1", who is like incredibly attractive can ball. Like, number one, can ball. So when you go see a player, it's like, yo, she got some flair to her. She step backs, can hit you with the passes, can do all of that, and cares about being a sex symbol. Like, I really, really cares about being a sex symbol. And I think that will get a lot of people, because they're just like, yo, she's like super bad, so we just know her for that. Then you cut the game and it's like, oh, but she can really, really hoop. Yeah. And like, she's exciting to watch. I think that's one thing that will really, really like push the league to like a different level. And I've said it in a conversation with like multiple people, like women, men, all the time. I think that's just one thing
I agree.
Needs.
I agree. They don't really have a star power. And even when you think about like the biggest stars in the league, like I don't think LeBron isn't the sex symbol in the NBA. But he's more like that Uncle Phil dad type to these kids. And to me, I even seen him grow up from being like a young guy. He's turned into like, for this generation, that kind of Uncle Phil type of, he can relate, still a little hip, but like that's what he's become now that he's kind of entered into his 30s. And a lot of these kids that grew up watching him are now becoming young adults and adults. That's who he is. But if you look at guys like a Steph Curry, like, he's on commercials all the time. You see his face everywhere. Women love Steph Curry. Even if you look at a guy like Kyle Kuzma, his star power to me is what kept him in LA. Kelly Oubre. Like, it's a lot of, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not too many WNBA players other than literally probably Liz Cambage.
Liz does a good job.
And Sinead, who plays for the Sparks, where I'm looking at them and I'm like, their personality and their looks, they have that star look to them, if that makes sense. A lot of the WNBA players don't carry that star weight, if that makes sense. Like, it's certain guys, like when Magic walked into a room, like, that guy's a star.
Skylar Diggins,
but she's not playing. But it's not like that. She had a child and she's been disappeared. She's been gone for 2 years. Okay. So it has nothing. But even with that being said, she could have still had the child and been in all kind of marketing campaigns, doing all kind of yoga things, yoga classes. This kind of branding, baby bottle branding, diaper branding. You don't see any of it because it's just not there.
They also have to just embrace the fact that they want to be brands more. Yeah. And I wish you. I think the new generation, especially the generation that's gonna grow up with social media, so they're gonna do something in high school and end up catching a wave and be a little bit famous in high school. So they're gonna start to embrace their brands more as this new generation goes, and as this new generation again has grown up and always seen this league as something that is something to aspire to. As opposed to the old generation, I don't think they always saw the WNBA as something to aspire to because they remember a time when it didn't exist.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a WNBA player with 1 million followers on Instagram.
It probably is.
No, it's not.
It's not?
I don't think it is. I literally don't think it is.
Put the question to the people.
I'm serious. I think Liz Cambage might be the most, I think she has 637,000 followers. You know what I mean?
Which is why it was such a big deal. Like, her trade was such a big deal.
Yeah, so it's like, so even in the sphere of that, Kyle Kuzma got fucking 5 million followers on Instagram. What has he accomplished? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And I got mad respect for Kyle Kuzma.
The fact that Kyle Kuzma is the one that survived it all is hilarious to me. Man. I did not think he was going to be the one to survive it all.
What do you think about the Lakers?
Oh man, I think the moves.
Championship contenders?
I don't know. I mean, we got to see how they come together. The one good thing about LeBron, I'll say, is that LeBron has a way of bringing players together to win. And that's sort of like his legacy because, you've seen the Lakers put together a whole all-star team and, flop. So, like, to be able to...
And this is going to be one of them years, too.
And bring people together, kind of know the pieces that work, what have you, is a special gift.
So, over under 50 wins for the Lakers?
Oh, yeah, I get 50 wins.
Did they get 50 wins?
I think they get 50 wins.
Who do you think is going to be an all-star for the Lakers?
You got to give it to Bron and AD.
Think anybody else gonna sneak in?
They're gonna try to balance. They got to balance it out a little bit, Plus, you still got the Clippers over there about to hand somebody a rack or two. So yeah. So don't sleep on them. LA got a lot of basketball coming.
To me, I think the league is kind of like in a place where it was when Mike retired the first time.
Okay.
Whereas, like, when we looking at it, the team it should be in the Western Conference is the Rockets.
No, it's the Warriors. But listen, they're the champions.
Wait. Listen, they're Warriors. The team that I think the Warriors will be fine. I don't think they'll be fine this year. I think that next year and the year after they'll be fine. I think that Klay needs a little bit of time to recover off the ACL. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be right there, but not this year.
Can I ask you an honest question? Is D'Angelo Russell right now better than Klay Thompson was in 2015?
Yes.
Then I don't want to hear it. Then stop it. We don't need to have this conversation.
Wait.
We don't need to have this conversation. You're disrespectful then. No. If he's better than the man was in 2015 when Steph Curry dragged that fucking team to the goddamn finals, do not give me that shit talking about, they're a French team. They're on the outside. That's bullshit. Take that narrative and get that shit out of here. That's weak. Take that shit home, bro.
What made the Warriors great was not... It wasn't just the fact that they were a great offensive team. It was the fact that defensively they were always top 3, top 5.
Who the best defensive team in the NBA right now?
Clippers, Utah.
On paper.
Yeah, on paper, Clippers, Utah. I think the Bucks will be there. I think the Sixers have to be there. I think the Lakers will be a good defensive team.
The Lakers are not going to be there. The Clippers are the only team that I'm looking at defensively where I'm like, yo,
they're that
team.
The Bucks,
it's nobody else that the Warriors are going to have to get through.
Bucks,
that's
the
going to be
Sixers, the Jazz.
Stop it.
I don't even think the Nuggets will be bad defensively.
Well, I'm a Warriors fan.
Come on, man. Stop this.
And I know that, what we need is an athletic center. We need somebody that can get up and down.
That. You got
College.
Well,
he got a chance to revamp his career. Steve Kerr told him, I'm going to jumpstart your career. And that's what he needs. Because at this point, Willie Cauley-Stein, to me, at best, is a guy that I'll forget about in 5 years. But if he goes to the Warriors and he becomes a great player, like what JaVale McGee did, he's a guy that immediately adds longevity to his career and becomes a viable guy that you want to re-sign to keep on your team to think that you can win a championship with. And if he can do that, and I think Willie Cauley-Stein at this point is still way younger than JaVale McGee was when Steph Curry got him. His upside to me is way higher than JaVale because he's not the numbnut that JaVale was when he was younger and doing stupid stuff, and you saw him on Shaq and the Fool every week. You don't really see Willie Cauley-Stein on Shaq and the Fool. Saw that man JaVale McGee every year, every week.
They picked on him though.
They didn't pick on him. How they pick on him?
They picked on him.
Stop it. We could turn on a JaVale McGee, Shaq and the Fool highlight compilation right now, and ain't nobody pick on that man.
They picked on him, and also JaVale really wasn't in the best situations. Like JaVale was always talented.
You can say that, but this is my thing. You can say the same thing about Willie Cauley-Stein.
Yeah, but I don't think Willie Cauley-Stein's been bad.
Huh?
I don't think Willie Cauley-Stein had.
I don't think JaVale McGee was bad. We just was underserved and he didn't achieve.
I think that'll definitely help us.
Yeah,
we got an athletic center that can get up and down because you need that. Cause the way the Warriors play,
up and down.
When you had Bogut and you had
Bogut was nice for them though.
He was nice. I mean, because he's a big body.
Big body, set great screens. He set great screens.
This is gonna sound bad. The Lakers ain't better than the Lakers.
He can knock down a few shots. But
I disagree with you, but I feel you.
But when you had Boog, it was a little different story because he needs basically a half court, kind of game, getting up and down.
Yeah. Did you see he lost a lot of weight?
Even with losing a lot of weight, like mechanically, he
This is actually, I was going to bring this up when talking about the Lakers because I'm looking at the Lakers and I'm looking at their defense. He's the clear defensive liability on the floor to me. And also depending on who you got as shooting guard. Point guard. If LeBron's running point, then cool. Then you'll be all right. But still,
if you switch everything, which also like I hate.
Yeah, but LeBron is a defensive liability when it comes to the switches too. He's going to get picked on.
He's going to get picked on. Look, listen. Nobody gives for the most part, besides the great players. LeBron drugs consistently 1-on-1.
He's 35 years old.
I understand that, but also look.
Of course, he can guard Steph Curry in 2015. He was 30 years old.
Listen. For one, you don't play defense by yourself. You have Anthony Davis behind you, who last time Anthony Davis cared about playing a full season of basketball was a top 3 defense candidate.
But you want to know something? When I'm playing against Mr. I Love NBA 2K,
facts.
When you run in the NBA 2K system and Boogie is on the floor, AD is really in the corner or somewhere in the top of the thing in the mid-range. He's not going to be down in the bottom of the paint to affect the shots the way that people think he's going to be. Because if I'm the other team, I'm leaving on defense whoever that big man is, the AD guard, you standing in the corner. So we can keep AD in the corner. And we're going to run that Bron and we're going to run that Boogie and we're going to drive to the lane all day long. And if Boogie want to pick up foul trouble, great. Bring in JaVale. We're going to make him pick up foul trouble. We're going to make you have to play Anthony Davis at center. We're gonna make you have to do that.
But AD is gonna play some center. He's just not gonna play a full game worth of center because he doesn't want to play a full game worth of center. Look, when they want to run small and run lineups like AD at center, Kuzma out there, Bron, probably Danny Green and like KCP, he's gonna end up playing some center. He's not, but
well, the man.
Didn't you low key like?
I didn't train.
Okay.
I had Chris Paul and J.R. Smith.
Chris Paul
is one of my favorite players of all time.
I'm anti-Chris Paul. I think he's a locker room.
I
think Chris Paul. I just had a segment. I gotta
scratch your head. I don't even want to know why you scratch your head.
I got a show where I'm talking about all Clippers and stuff like that because we covered the Clippers last year's media. And I mentioned last year, I just thought Chris Paul didn't fit with Blake because I think Chris Paul just has a personality that's not conducive to a productive locker room because he's a very drill sergeant type of guy, but he's my height. And it's like, shut up, you my height. We don't want to hear you talk about it. Get out of my face. I'm 6'9" and I can windmill.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say...
I mean, of course, I'm not expecting you to say anything bad about him, but I personally think he's not a good teammate, which is why it never works in the systems that he's in.
Well, I can say this, when Chris went to Houston, and we keep stats on how long players hold the ball on average and this, that, and the other. So when you look at Chris Paul, on average, he holds the ball about 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. And James Harden holds the ball about the same amount of time. Yeah. So, you got a 24-second clock. Mm-hmm. Do the math.
You at 29 seconds right now.
Right? So, it could have worked maybe before Chris's injury,
Yeah.
But in reality, they both... Chris is going to give you, maybe 20, 26 points, what have you, but he's not a 30-point-a-night guy. Yeah. Right? And he's going to give you some assists, but he's getting those assists. He's basically got the ball in his hands. Right? So for a guy like James Harden, who is very effective from the outside, when you bring in somebody like Russell Westbrook, and people say, oh, they don't have enough basketballs. Well, they do because Russ is a different kind of player than Chris Paul.
I've been saying that though.
Real quick,
we can talk about that next. Actually,
I want to say this on paper. When I look, great. You got to play the game. Have to play the game, but on paper, this is the best backcourt I've ever seen in my life. On paper,
no, it's not.
Look.
What are your parameters?
Listen.
On paper, what?
Listen, you have never seen two MVPs. At least in somewhat of their respective prime still. Now, granted, you brought up the Kobe and Steve Nash thing. Kobe was 34. No, stop.
Kobe was an all-star that year, and the year before, Steve Nash was an all-star the year before.
Stop. He was not his prime. Steve Nash was 37 years old. Neither one of them was in their basketball prime. Stop. I understand that.
Wait a minute. So the year Kobe...
The year when he got swept out the... No, he wasn't in his prime no more.
Come on.
No, Kobe wasn't in his prime. No, he was not.
What you mean he was dragging that team to the playoffs before he tore his fucking Achilles?
That don't mean he was in his fucking prime. Prime Kobe, that team would have had 50 wins.
Stop that, man. Stop that. That team wasn't even that good for them to have 50 wins. That team had fucking Nick Young on it. It had Nick Young on
Okay.
It. No.
That team was better than the team that Kobe averaged 36 with.
No. Sorry. What? Point the way? Or what? Off that drink? Yeah, exactly.
That team was better than the team that Kobe...
Stop it. No, I'm sorry. No, that team was not better. No, stop it, man. That team was terrible. That's why he was dragging them to the playoffs.
No.
That's why he was dragging them to the playoffs.
I understand.
He averaged like 40-something for the week before he tore his Achilles.
I understand that, but that still was not prime Kobe.
That.
And even still, if you want to say that, that's fine. That wasn't prime Steve Nash.
Yeah, we not getting prime Russ.
I disagree with that. We're not getting. Listen,
we're not getting.
I disagree
are we
with
getting
that.
the maximum prime Russell Westbrook with James Harden now?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Literally. I still think Russ has, especially the fact that he's going to play with Harden, so somebody else who can take a lot of the load off of Russ. I think Russ still has at least, barring injury, 2 years left in his prime. Barring injury.
I think it's a dangerous backcourt.
I think you might be looking at one of the best backcourts you've ever seen in your life.
Well, I mean, I like what Portland has.
Portland's great.
They don't.
What the best you ever seen?
But you ain't got no. You talking about Harden coming off averaging 36 points and Russ coming off averaging 3 straight years of a triple double? So you talking about a man Harden who realistically I think he should have 3 MVPs right now. And you talking about Russell Westbrook, another person who has an MVP in the same backcourt. I literally went back and I looked it up. Jerry West and Gail Goodrich, neither one of them won MVP. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, both of them ain't win no MVPs. The Warriors, Steph got 2. Clay don't have none. You want to bring up the Lakers? Okay, that's fine. But Steve Nash was 38 years old with a dead back by that point. Now, if we talking about 06 Steve Nash or like 08 Steve Nash, 08 Kobe, okay, fine. But you ain't never seen two people around the same age. I think Russ 31, Harden 30 now, in the same backcourt together. On paper, this is the best backcourt ever.
When have you seen either of those guys lead their team to anywhere close to the promised land?
They were young.
Hold on.
No,
the man was one game away from the finals. What you mean? How much further can you go?
I said lead them to the promised land.
He one game away from the finals.
The promised land?
Damn near.
No, it's not. You want to get to heaven or you want to get right before heaven? You want to walk up to the gates and see them and God like, nah, G, we thought you was good.
You literally one game away
you want to
from the
get in the
finals,
motherfucker. You don't want to be standing outside the gates.
You one game, literally. You're up 3-2 and your second star gets hurt.
That's not the
promised land. You're one
promised
game away
land.
from the finals.
What is the promised land?
You can go no further.
What is the promised land? The promised land is the finals. Stop this, man.
Alright, bro.
Stop this.
Alright, bro.
We saw what Harden was in the finals. Whether he was young or not, the man disappeared.
He was young. He was 20.
He disappeared.
Russ didn't.
Huh?
Russ didn't.
Shit.
No, he didn't. You're wild. Stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Russ,
go back, rewatch that finals. Go back
and rewatch 40 in game 2. Stop that, man. And also, hold on, wait. Wait.
Stop it.
Wait. Also, hold on. The Thunder could have been up 2-0 if it weren't for that phantom foul call.
I don't want to hear no phantom foul.
Remember, they called. I think they didn't call it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like
so no. And look, you talking about they were one game away from the finals. I know how much emphasis you put on winning. They were still one game away from the NBA Finals against one of the best teams of all time.
Harden don't got no heart,
and also,
bro.
Hold on, wait. When have you ever seen James Harden play with a player as good as Russell Westbrook?
Supposedly it's supposed to be Chris Paul.
I understand that.
You told me that.
Listen,
you told me is Chris Paul top 5 point guard all time to you?
No.
Exactly.
To me, it's top 10.
Thank you.
But look,
top 10. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love Chris Paul.
Thank you.
But at that point in time, at his age, especially this year, no, the first year, cool. I thought that was they could have done it. Literally, the man got hurt. They were one game away. The man get hurt.
Iggy was hurt too.
Okay.
So if we talking about it hurt, we can play an injury game all day long.
I understand that. I feel what you're saying.
No,
but bro, but it is. G, for the Warriors, bro, you still got 4 All-Stars on the court. If Chris Paul go down, who the other All-Star for the Rockets?
Your MVP.
It's 1 against 4.
If it was Michael Jordan have lost them 2 games versus the Warriors?
Possibly.
Hell no.
Possibly.
Michael Jordan would have slapped the shit out of Kevin Durant and Chris Paul before he walked off that court and he took an L the way they took an L. Harden don't have no heart. I like Russ. Russ is my guy. Russ is a guy with a little too much heart. Harden a guy with no heart. So hopefully they come together, they can blend together, and they can make like one heart and they can get it done. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Regardless, my point was if you look at the league after Mike retired, right? The Knicks, who were that team that was supposed to basically slide right in, they did what they should have done. They slid right in and went to the finals. I think that you kind of like in that space right now with again, like look, I think the Warriors will still be right there. I just don't think they're gonna be right there this year. I think this year you win out 50 games. I think they probably lose in like the semifinals. Okay, cool. Now the next year in which Clay get a full off season where he's not rehabbing and he comes back at 100% because my thing with Clay is it's not his offense. He gonna shoot threes, whatever, but he still got to be the all defensive team player that he is for this team to be successful. Cause Steph not playing defense, Dino not playing the defense.
D'Lo
not playing defense.
That his new nickname, Dino.
And with Draymond, I think with Draymond, if Draymond plays, I mean, look, if Draymond comes in shape and plays like he played in the playoffs, great. But that wasn't the Draymond we saw all year.
He played like he played in the playoffs. He's defensive player of the year.
That's cool.
So you got 2 All-Stars and defensive player of the year.
But listen,
we get back to the finals.
He got to do that for 82 games.
We get back to the finals.
He got to do that for 82 games.
Back to the finals.
Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, the West is
the West is loaded.
We'll be alright.
It's really balanced.
Y'all gonna be mad when Utah get annihilated in the first round.
You really do not
I don't rock with Utah on no level.
Why?
Because I don't like the people of Utah.
Why? Okay, that's fair.
I don't.
That's fair.
I don't.
That's fair.
Not all of y'all racist, because I know some of y'all are fans, but I don't rock with y'all as a whole. My consensus on Utah is nah, fam. That's how I feel about it. Since the 90s, nah, fam.
You don't even like Donovan,
huh? It ain't got nothing to do with Donovan. I don't like Rudy Gobert. He should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. No, he shouldn't have.
Giannis should have won MVP. Harden should have won.
No, give it to Paul George. I don't give a shit. Don't give it to Rudy Gobert.
No. Gobert deserved it. Giannis shouldn't have won MVP either.
No, stop it.
He shouldn't have won MVP. That man went out there and averaged 36 points per game. G.
That's on you. Go ahead.
But anyway, moving on. I want to talk about top 5 young cores in the league.
Yeah, who do you
young
like?
core. So I first of all, we got to put a age cap on young core. What age are you not considered to be in a young core anymore? I say 25.
Explain that to me.
Young core. So basically, like, what teams have guys under the age of, let's say, 24, 25, who you think are like the best in the league? So young core.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I just want to be clear.
Yeah, young core. But I think
I'm old school, so it might.
I think that 20
on the terminology.
I think 25 is like the cutoff age for like a young core. Like once you get to be 25, I think that's like 26. Like you kind of supposed to be moving into who you are as a basketball player by then. Like I mean, obviously you can still get better and grow. I think you should be still moving into like exactly who you are. You should be at least stepping into your prime by then.
Yeah. Well, how old is Giannis?
Giannis is 24 technically, but okay. I mean in Middleton, I don't know how old Middleton is.
I think Giannis is 24 years old. Wow,
yeah, Giannis is 24.
So I mean, yeah,
you guys gotta put
him up in there.
You gotta put the Bucks first. That's fair.
Devin Booker.
And Aiden. Yeah, I'm not a big Devin Booker fan. I don't feel like he's effective.
He gets buckets. He just gotta.
Yeah, but can he win?
Yeah, I think they can.
You say they can't win, but look who the man playing with.
You can't sleep on Phoenix either. I mean,
I agree.
They got some.
I think Phoenix got better.
Players.
I think Phoenix got better this offseason.
Definitely.
I think Phoenix got better.
They do, but Devin Booker just got
Monty Williams. Shout out to Monty.
Yeah, he might be able to reel Devin Booker in because I don't feel like anybody can literally look at Devin Booker and just be like, stop shooting the fucking ball.
Who needs to shoot the ball?
Well, I mean, he gotta shoot the ball.
Exactly. Who needs to shoot the ball? Did you look at the team last year? Who needs to shoot it?
With that, I never see him take anybody, and I'm like, yo, Donovan Mitchell made sure that guy had 20 points that night.
But that man had 70 points.
He had DeAndre Ayton. Who can stop DeAndre Ayton? The man run like a gazelle.
Real quick.
He big as hell. He can shoot threes, and he's strong as fuck.
Look.
Throw the man the ball.
Look. Listen.
I don't want no.
Listen. You say all this, right? Ayton still averaged 16 as a rookie.
I need him to average more. He could have averaged 20 and 10 last year if Devin
he played with like a point guard to look for him to get the ball.
No, if Devin Booker just didn't shoot the ball half of the times when he didn't even shoot the ball.
Who's the better option to shoot the ball?
The better option? The better option is a guy that's 6'11", 280 pounds, full of muscle, can shoot a three, can set a pick and roll, can run as fast as anybody else.
No goddamn threes yet.
He can shoot a three.
No, he can't. Not yet.
It's not going to be consistent.
No goddamn threes.
It's not going to be consistent, but
look, stop. Last year.
I was gonna finish my.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
So you got Bucks, Phoenix.
I got who Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, but who else is on the Jazz though? I mean, that's under. You're right. Fair. Donovan. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. Who else? God. That's under 24.
25.
25. Yeah. Making an impact on the league.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert's 27, so that don't really count.
I mean, Jason Tatum,
Jaylen Brown. I'm not upset at that. The Mavericks, y'all sleeping on the Mavericks big time. Kristaps is still 24.
He's 24.
Luka's 21.
Fair.
Yeah. How old is Jokic?
I actually don't even know. How old is Jokic? I don't know. Shout out to Jokic, man. He still had a good season. Not the best in the league. He's 24.
Okay.
Yeah, the Nuggets. 5, right? The
Nuggets. I'll probably, if I had to go, I'll probably say Nuggets 1. Because, I mean, when I look at it, they were second best team in the West last year. Jamal Murray is 21, Jokic 23, Gary Harris 24, and Beasley is 22. And I still believe if Michael Porter Jr. can come in and give you anything, if Michael Porter Jr. can come in and be a guy who can give you 19 to 22 points a night, you got something. I think the only thing that Denver is missing is a guy that can throw the ball to and be like, move.
Yeah.
From like the wing spot though, I don't think they had that wing yet. So number 1, I probably got to go Denver. Number 2, I'm gonna actually go Dallas. I think Luka with the Rookie of the Year. Bringing back KP. Wasn't KP an All-Star before he tore his ACL?
Yeah, he was.
It was also
that was the year he got elected to be an All-Star.
Yeah, personally, I love Jalen Brunson as a point guard. I think Jalen Brunson is the perfect point guard to play with them, so I'm gonna go with them at my number 2 spot. Number 3, I'm gonna say the Hawks.
I was gonna say you got
the Hawks. The Hawks, man. Like I think Trae Young has a chance to be the best. I said the future best point guard in the league. I think Trae Young has a chance to be one of the best, like the best point guard in the league in 3-4 years.
Yeah, he's special.
Like when I look at him, to me he's like the evolved version of Steve Nash, in my humble opinion. And also, I love Cam Reddish. They got the guy from Virginia, DeAndre Hunter. I think that he fits well. They got Horter, a shooter, like to the point where you can't even really double trade because you got another guy in the backcourt who you really got to worry about. Who, if you leave him, it's a bucket every time, especially from distance. So I got to go with them. Number 4, I'm gonna go with the Bucks, even though they don't really have anybody else under like 25 besides Giannis.
They need an outside shooter.
But still, Giannis is still under 25, and the man won an MVP. And I don't even think he's nowhere near the player he can become yet. So I gotta go with them. And then 5, I'm gonna go with the Bulls, man. I love Zach LaVine. Like I think Zach LaVine. If we looking at the Eastern Conference, I don't know what Oladipo gonna look like when he come back. I think between him and Bradley Beal, it might be a real discussion of who's the best 2 guard in the Eastern Conference. I mean, I think Zach gave you 24 points last year. I think he's only gonna get better. It seems to me like he has a good work ethic. He works hard. Also, I like Cody White, Laurie Marketing. Kobe White, Laurie Marketing. He's more convinced about Laurie than I am.
Laurie's gonna be an all-star next year. Remember, I said it. I've been saying it for 2 years.
Laurie is like a 7-foot JJ Redick to me. He really needs to get more aggressive. Like some games in which he doesn't shoot the ball, to me, it's his fault. You got to go out there and be more aggressive. But still, I like Laurie. I think Laurie is a guy that can at least, at the very least.
What are you talking about? Man, like, come on, man. Stop.
No, like, look, there were certain games in which I saw in which, he would not shoot the ball for 10 minutes. And it's like, no, that's your fault. He's not the
number 1 option on offense.
It doesn't matter.
He's the number 2 option.
But look, when Zach is off, I understand that. But when Zach is off the court, it ain't no reason you shouldn't be shooting the ball.
Who was going to get the man the ball? Chris Dunn?
Be more aggressive.
I'm asking you a question.
G.
Who gonna get the man the ball? Chris Dunn?
But look,
even Dirk Nowitzki needed Steve Nash and Jason Terry and Jason Kidd to give him the ball.
Real quick though, I don't think Lowry is a guy who needs to be set up. I think Lowry can set himself up.
See, and that's why I don't feel like you've watched enough Lowry.
I think Lowry can set himself up.
No, Lowry needs to be set up. Lowry needs to play with a strong point guard that can score, that can drive to the rim, that can create and dish to him, get him open threes and open drives to the lane. He's not a guy that you just gonna throw the ball like a Dirk Nowitzki, put him on the block and say, "Go to work, big fella." That's
when he's not gonna be the player that you want him to be.
No, that's not true. He's still gonna give you 19 and 10. That's an all-star in the East, period.
Debatable.
If Porzingis was an all-star for the Knicks,
Porzingis would give you like 22 though.
Huh?
Porzingis would give you like 22.
I think Lowry at his peak, probably for his career, and his best year will probably give you 23 and 11.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's an all-star.
Okay, that's fair.
But you don't have to set him up. He's gonna get 12 to 15 points just from rebounding. He's a good rebounder. He's stronger now. He's able to actually be in the paint. He actually doesn't mind jumping the block shots, even if he gets dunked on. He needs somebody to set him up. Why do you think the Bulls when they got a point guard? Because they have nobody to distribute the ball. Why do you think the Suns when they got a point guard? Because they have nobody to distribute the ball. The same way I say Ayton needs shots, the same way Laurie needed shots. If Zach LaVine just gonna stand out there, dribble, shoot the ball because he think he Kobe. If Devin Booker gonna stand out there, dribble, shoot the ball because he think he Kobe. Yeah, the big man not gonna get no touches. That's what the team is. You got a guy like Otto. Otto's a guy that's a good passer. You also, even if Kobe White isn't going to be the guy for you right now, you got Satoransky. Satoransky is used to passing the ball.
Lowry did take 15 shots last week.
He needs to take 18.
Lowry took 15.
He needs to take 18 for him to be effective. He needs to take 18 to give me 20 to 22 a night.
Zach took 18. Lowry took 15.
Exactly. And But Chris Dunn, how many assists did he average last year? It's probably
6.
That's not good enough.
I mean, 6 is decent.
No, it's not good enough.
6 is decent when you consider the fact that
it's not though.
Zach gave you 4.5.
Yes, but I'm talking to you about a good distributor point guard. What have we been talking about Chris Dunn for the past couple years in terms of him? He's not the guy. Well, he's John Wall without the talent.
Fair.
Literally, he's John Wall without the talent. So,
but still,
I'm not upset. But Larry's gonna be all right.
Those. I'm just saying, you believe in Larry a little more than what I believe in Larry. But I do think Larry is going to be a very, very good quality NBA player. Also, I like Wendell Carter. And even if Wendell Carter isn't who I think he can be, I love the guy that they drafted, Daniel Gafford. I think he played great in Summer League. I think Daniel Gafford played great in Summer League. So I'm also like, that's my 5. That's my 5.
My 5, number 1, I'm going to go with the Pelicans. You have Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Josh Hart, and the other guy that they drafted. I forgot
Jackson
his name.
Hayes.
Jackson Hayes.
And they got Shay's cousin, who looks great too.
I don't care about him.
Shay's cousin look crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to R.B. Dawkins.
Yeah, shout out to him. But I'm gonna take the Pelicans. I think they have I think that young court. I just named 4 or 5 guys. That's a starting lineup right there, and all those guys are under 23, I believe, which is great for them. For number 2, I'm actually gonna go with the Kings. I think that the Kings. I don't think they will get there this year because I think they need one more year of heartbreak, like the Nuggets did the year before last when they lost and they were trying to get to the playoffs for the second year and they missed it. I think this will be another one of those years for the Kings.
Only issue with that is Buddy Hield's 26.
So what? I still got Bogdan. I still got Buddy Hield.
Bogdan's 26.
I mean, I'm sorry. I still got D'Angelo. I'm sorry. I still got
You got Bagley.
I still got Swiper and I still got Bagley. I think Swiper and Bagley can be. Honestly, I think they can be one of the deadliest point guard power forward combinations in the league probably in about 3 or 4 years. So I'm not gonna give up on their promise, but also, but they got young guys on their bench. It's not like they have an old team. They don't have an old team. They have young guys on their bench. I mean, the oldest guys on that roster are probably Harrison Barnes.
Kufa's Ariza.
Come on. We talking about guys that are never gonna start again. We're talking about guys that'll never start. They're all bench players, peripheral guys, young core. I'm taking them. For my number 3, I'm actually going to go with the Mavericks because I like Luka and I like KP. And the only reason why I chose the Kings over them is because I think that KP, after the injury, I don't know what he's going to be. I think we've seen enough of De'Aaron Fox where he's a guy next year. If he steals an all-star spot from somebody, I won't be surprised. If Bagley sneaks in and steals an all-star spot and the Kings are just like lighting it up, I wouldn't be surprised. But with this Mavericks team, I think KP is going to need a full year before he's going to be anything what he was before. I think he has to change his game a lot more, become much more of a better mid-range shooter, get a couple more moves because he didn't really have a ton of moves in the mid-range. He was really like size, athleticism, kind of what you say with Laurie, but I think he had a little bit more in the interior. His game is going to have to stretch a little bit more to the mid-range, especially if they want to start him at power forward, which is what I think they will do. So I'm going to take them 3rd, even though I think my guy Luka is going to be better than LeBron, but we're going to hold off on it until that happens. Number 4, I'm going to say the Grizzlies because I like Luka's rookie year was better than LeBron. Just go look up the numbers. Seriously, go look up the numbers. Same amount of points, more rebounds, and the same amount of assists on way better shooting, way less shots, 6 minutes less a game. Nah, I'm sorry, there's no comparison. It's really not. Go back, do your Googles.
League is different now, but it's fine.
I don't want to hear the league is different. That's such a cop out.
It is.
That's such a cop out. Luka been approved. I mean, I'm sorry, he been a pro since he was like 12. That's a cop out.
That's not a cop out.
That's a cop out. He was a pro in Europe since he was 12.
The league is actually different.
Stop that. LeBron was dunking on his friends at St. Vincent St. Mary. You want to talk to me about Luka and LeBron?
The league is different.
No, it's not. Stop that. Even LaMelo is gonna come in to the league as a better prospect than most guys that go to college.
That's fair.
That most guys that come straight from the high school to the NBA. That doesn't stop the fact
that the league is actually a different league now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, no.
It's easy for me to score.
So how did that explain LeBron's lack of rebounding?
Because
how
guards weren't expected. Well, not guard. First of all, he was playing. No, wait, whoa.
Come on, lie to me, please.
No.
Sit here and lie to the internet.
He was playing point guard at first. When he first came in, LeBron was playing point guard. Also, they weren't taking as many threes, so there weren't as many long rebounds. Back then, they just weren't. And he probably had somebody on his team giving him like 10 rebounds. The league was just different back then.
DeAndre Jordan didn't play with Luka Doncic for the first half of the season.
Yeah, then he got traded away, and then his stats went crazy.
No, his stats been crazy.
No,
the whole argument we had about rookie of the year. Hold on, we had this whole argument last year about rookie of the year. He told me Trae Young was rookie of the year because Trae Young played good.
Rookie of the year.
Stop. He told me Trae Young was rookie of the year because Trae Young played good for the last 3/4 or the half of the season. I said Luka was the better rookie because he played that way from the very start and finished the season strong. Make up your mind.
I don't think.
Make up your mind. Make up your mind.
Listen. He was averaging about like 20, and then when they traded everybody away, he went up to like 24. When they traded everybody away, his stats went and got better because he was dominating the ball more.
Stop it. You're a hater. I feel you, but you're a hater.
No.
Yes.
And also, I think that Trae Young will be a better player than Luka too.
No, he won't. But
I really wonder how Luka's gonna do in his second season. I wonder how high his ceiling is. I just wonder how.
You're gonna be very mad when he's an All-Star next year.
He probably will. I mean, he's gonna get an All-Star spot regardless because he's very famous. So he's gonna get an All-Star spot.
Yeah. So next, I'm gonna go with 4. Probably, I'm gonna go with the Nuggets because they got Jokic, and Jokic was top. I think he's top 3, top 5 guy in the league in terms of where he's.
Put them at 4,
huh? I'm gonna put them at 4. Yes, I'm gonna put them at 4.
You're not gonna put them above Dallas,
huh?
You're gonna put them above Dallas?
No, I'm not putting them. Did you not just hear what I said about Luka Doncic?
Okay.
I just said what I said. I think the man gonna be better than LeBron, and I think he's already better than LeBron was at that point in time, all around. He's all around a better player than LeBron. The only thing he doesn't have is a 40-inch vertical, and he still will yam on you. And he was smacking old LeBron's shot all around the rim when LeBron was trying to lay it up against him twice. 2 times in a row. Went down. Easy layup. Boom. Give me that LeBron. Cookies.
Not the defender LeBron was.
Cookies. Okay. It don't matter. He don't have to be the defender. He's a better offensive player. You're lying to yourself. You're a liar. You're a liar. You sat up here. We watched a Kobe versus LeBron game from 2009. The whole game he's screaming LeBron can't score.
But listen. Offense is more than just that. I don't think that Luke is the passer that Bron is.
They average the same amount of assists in their first year.
Yeah, but again, the game is more open now. He's playing with more shooters. And you also got to look
what shooters on the Mavericks. Listen. What shooters on the Mavericks?
They had Wesley Matthews at first. Wesley Matthews can't knock down the shot.
You told me his numbers went up when they got rid of everybody. So I'm asking you.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
He's a shooter.
He can shoot the ball.
You know who Tim Hardaway Jr. is?
He playing with better shooters than Bron playing with.
Jack, is Tim Hardaway Jr.
playing with.
He's streaky.
Gee, the man was playing with Ricky Davis.
Tim Hardaway Jr. was Ricky Davis with a New York Knicks contract when he was in New York. Stop that.
Whoa. First of all, Ricky Davis dominates the ball way more than Tim Hardaway Jr. ever did. Am I lying about that?
Even more to my point, they're not shooters. Neither one of them was a shooter. And Tim Hardaway got the ball out of New York.
In New York? Not in Dallas?
Bro,
who else was playing with him when he was on New York?
I'm asking you what shooters. You ain't named me no shooters. Tim Hardaway Jr. is not known for being a shooter. Is Tim Hardaway Jr. known for being a shooter?
He can shoot the ball.
What do you know Tim Hardaway Jr. for doing?
Shooting the ball.
Exactly. What you mean?
Come on, man.
What you mean?
You know Tim Hardaway Jr.
Came in for JR.
You know Tim Hardaway Jr. Exactly. JR ain't no shooter to me. JR ain't never been a shooter to me.
Come on, G.
JR is not a shooter to me.
Yeah, JR's a shooter.
JR became a shooter when he went to Cleveland. JR wasn't a shooter for his whole career.
He was a shooter in New York?
No, he wasn't. He was a slasher and a mid-range guy.
He couldn't shoot, G.
Come on, man. JR was a shooter in New York?
Yeah.
No.
He was a shooter who could also get to the rim.
Who else there was there? No, stop it. Nobody else was there to shoot the ball. Literally, mellow ISO, mid-range. I'm throwing you the ball to the ball. He was not the shooter. Why do you think he didn't survive in New York? Because he couldn't fucking shoot it. They put him in the shooter's role.
He didn't survive in New York?
He survived in New York doing what? What was J.R. Smith's accomplishments in New York?
6th man of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
In what? The 1 year they made to the playoffs. What else did he do in New York?
Averaged like 15 points. 16 points.
Tim Hardaway Jr. averaged 19. I'm telling you, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a slasher and a scorer. He is not a shooter.
Okay.
He is not a shooter.
Okay.
You want to argue me Jalen Brunson? Fine. You want to argue me Keebler? Fine. You want to argue me Jose Juan Barea before he tore his Achilles? Fine. But that Mavericks team had no shooters on that
ain't
shit.
no better shooter than Tim Hardaway.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Oh my God, bro.
No, he's not. G.
Right.
Jose Barea is not a better shooter.
Okay.
G. Jose Barea shot 29% from 3 this year. G.
He tore his Achilles, bro, halfway through the year. Well, actually, 30-some games through the season.
In the 38 games that he played, he shot 29%.
As a bench guy, G, what was his years? What's his numbers the years before? What was he shooting from the field and from there?
The highest he shot from the 3 was 37%.
Now go back and tell me what Tim Hardaway Jr. is. Okay, so what?
In Minnesota.
So what? What's Tim Hardaway Jr.'s highest shooting from the 3?
And he started 11 games that year and only played 41.
What was Tim Hardaway Jr.'s highest shooting percentage from 3?
I got you.
I need to know this now.
I got you. Tim Hardaway Jr., the highest he shot was 36%.
When? What year? And what team?
First year.
And what team?
Knicks.
Come on, man. Stop.
He can shoot the ball.
Stop it. I'm sorry. I will give you any other victories.
Regardless.
But still, with my number 5 team, I'm going to say the Atlanta Hawks because we can round it out on that.
Okay,
the Hawks, I think they got a very talented young core. I like Trae Young. I like John Collins. I like Huerta. I like the fact that they picked up Cam Reddish. Do you like Cam Reddish? What do you think about him as a prospect? Good player, solid player.
Solid.
Who do you got any comps for him? Do you watch college basketball a lot? I'm not a huge college guy, so that's why I'm asking.
No, I mean I watch a little bit. I mean, it's just another level, man. Mm-hmm. They can say all they want, and
Yeah.
We see guys flunk out of the NBA all the time. So once they get there, if they make the adjustment, hey, go for it.
Yeah.
But we just gotta see.
Do you like Trae Young as a prospect, as a player? What do you think about him?
I like Trae. I mean, Trae's proven that he can hold his own, in his rookie year, which is sort of the test for a lot of guys. If you can hold your own in your rookie year, and Trae did that with a lot of confidence, put the team on his back, and I think he's got a lot of potential.
Which young guy do you think has the most potential in the NBA right now? In terms of not even in terms of like, is he going to be the greatest player of all time? But which guy do you look at and you're like, that guy has a lot of potential to either be a star or be a good player in the league, regardless of where they got picked, where they got drafted at, just in terms of kind of you seeing them?
Well, I mean, I think the two guys that one has already accomplished it, and the other one still has a lot to prove. Is LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Okay.
So I mean, and the interesting thing about both of their games, they're not like the prettiest games that you watch, but it's so effective, that you can't, despite the numbers. But I think what LeBron has accomplished that all of us get to see is huge. I mean, breaking some of Jordan's records, breaking Kareem's records, and some of the other legends in the game. I think Anthony Davis, if he can stay healthy for the seasons, can certainly potentially break a lot of records. He's that kind of ball player. I think Russ, he's I don't know about the championships or anything, but in terms of just what he offers to the game, in terms of numbers and being able to put those numbers together in triple doubles and everything, I mean, that's incredible, and to do it night in and night out. So those are guys. I mean, despite what you may think, I think Russ still has another 4 or 5 years on him.
I hope he does. Russ is one of my favorite players. He really is. I just haven't seen the desire to want to.
What?
No, can you let me fucking finish the goddamn sentence? Shit, I can't even get the first. Let me finish my fucking sentence.
Go ahead.
God damn.
Go ahead. Finish the sentence.
I haven't seen the desire to want to change his game and mold his game around being a better shooter. I understand that he is a freak of nature, that he is a great rebounder, that he is a great playmaker, that he has supreme vision and passing and can do all those other things. But if you're gonna shoot 39% from the floor and 29% from the from the 3-point line, you're not gonna be effective as effective as you need him to. Because even in the playoffs, if I'm dealing with Russ, I'm not like the one thing you seen with Russ and Paul George was when Paul George went cold, all you did, or actually, in order to make Paul George have a bad game or defend him, you either gonna load up on him or you're gonna put a defender on him that's gonna try to irritate him a little bit more, and then you're gonna try to put the pressure on Russ to be able to make shots. And more times than not, he couldn't, which is why whenever Paul George he struggled and he had a bad game, usually Russ had a good game, but it wasn't a good game shooting from the floor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always talk to people when I'm talking about possessions. It's a lot of possessions that Russ leaves on the floor with wide open misses, where the game could be 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, and instead it's 3 points, 2 points, 1 point because you can't make those shots. He has to go out and get better. I have not seen a desire from him to want to go out and become a better shooter. I have never watched that man play basketball and I'm thinking, yo, he finally found a rhythm shooting. Even Derrick Rose. I always just say Derrick Rose could not shoot. He was slashing, he was driving, he occasionally hit big shots. He was a timely guy, but he never showed the desire to want to go out and get better as a shooter. Once he finally got healthy last year, he went out, said he changed his whole form, talked to this guy, told you he changed his whole form, had the desire to go out and get better as a shooter. If Russ not gonna get better as a shooter, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be the same thing as with Chris Paul, except for the guy's 6'4" and he's just gonna be clanking off the rim instead of pulling his hamstring.
Here's my thing with Russ, right? Russ is never gonna be a great shooter ever. Like, that's not who Russell Westbrook is. My thing is the 65% from the free throw line. We can't have that. But what I do want to say, he did get hand surgery after the season, so we don't know when he hurt his hand. Like, that might have messed up his shot. We don't know. Like, he might have hurt it in the playoffs, might have hurt it midway through the season. We don't know. My thing with Russ is get back to shooting 84% from the line. Because the man going to the line, well, he went 6 times last year. But you know why you go 6 times? Because you don't want to go in there because you ain't making your free throws. When the first year, when he averaged 31, he went to the line 10 times a night. If you can get to the line 8 to 9 times a night, shoot 80% from the line, then that discards the fact that you're not a great shooter. That's the thing I say about Ben Simmons. He don't need to get a jump shot. He needs to shoot free throws better. He's 6'9", 230. Nobody can stop you from getting to the rim. Once you like, if if they playing you where they guard you at the free throw line, right? And they give you that much space. If you drive hard at them, they have to stop the ball. When they stop the ball, if they're going to foul you, you're too big. They have to foul you.
Yeah,
if you can shoot 80%, if you can shoot 80% from the free throw line, you kind of sort of eliminate some of these things. Everybody doesn't need to be a great shooter, but the free throw line, that's unacceptable. 65% from the line from your point guard, that's unacceptable.
No, it is.
That's unacceptable. Now look.
It's still a part of shooting. When people quote me true shooting percentages, the free throws are still a part of it. He has to go out and show the desire to want to be a better shooter of the basketball.
If the man can literally shoot, when he won his first MVP, he shot 42% from the field, 34% from three. If he can do that and shoot 85%, perfect.
42% from the field from my point guard.
I shot 84%. Is it
not? This is a real. Is 42% from your point guard not atrocious?
No, that's not actually that bad. I mean, 40.
We just living in the era in which you see people like Steph put up crazy.
In a basketball game, you got to shoot at least 46, 47% from the field.
Yeah, he's shooting 42.
But there's a lot of people shooting less than that.
And yeah, but they not Russell Westbrook though. That's what I'm saying. You telling me they gonna be the most talented backcourt of all time? Well, I need to see it.
Well,
I got to see the effort.
Russ doesn't need the ball long. Okay. Russ just needs to get to the basket, okay? And even if he doesn't score, now he's got one of the biggest threats in outside shooting beside Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry to dump the ball to. That's gonna knock it down.
He had that in Paul George though.
No,
really?
No. Okay. And I mean, you want to talk about shooters? Paul George isn't a shooter.
He's a shooter to me. No, look at his numbers. Harden's not a shooter. Harden's an ISO player. Harden's not a shooter. You telling me you kicking it out to Harden and he a shooter? When you ever know James Harden to be a catch and shoot guy? I saw Paul George do it his whole career. Paul George is more of a shooter than James Harden.
He's not a catch and shoot guy, but you let him get in rhythm, he's gonna knock that thing down. And most of it is from outside. So it's a dangerous combination, and he can get to the hole. I mean, all he has to do is sort of knock down a few. That's going to draw defense, and then you dump it to Russ, and he's going at you hard. So it's different than playing with Chris Paul, and it is. I think it's a dangerous backcourt.
My thing with because if he's playing with, and also again, you even said you've never seen Russ play with this much shooting around him. Like never. Even when they played with KD, they had Roberson at the two. You don't even have to guard Roberson. Serge Serge was there, but Serge wasn't the shooter that he is now when he was in OKC.
Yeah.
And
I don't think Serge is a shooter anyway.
I mean, but Serge is a better shooter now than when he was.
He's a guy. If I leave him open, I'm gonna close my eyes.
Rhythm. But, I mean, Serge can knock down a 15-footer. He's pretty consistent, 15, 17 feet. So he's not somebody that will knock down a three, every now and then. So he's not somebody that you just gonna forget about on the floor. And I mean, ask Golden State. I mean, shit, he kind of killed us a little bit there in the finals with
game.
And again, leave him alone. He's 50-50. That's what a lot of people think. But Serge is more than 50-50.
I agree, but again, you like my thing with Russ is the free throw line, bro. The 65, like that's the troubling thing. Basically, for your whole career, you've been around 80%. Then you go into last year, you shoot 73, and this year 65. I can't have that. If you can get yourself back to 80%, we good. Well, because you leaving like what you taking at that point. If you averaging 22, if you can get to the line more, you averaging 26.
Well, I think the biggest thing Russ got to get used to is that when he was at Oklahoma, he was the man, and James Harden was the understudy.
Yeah.
Now it's the reverse.
Yeah.
James Harden, this is his team, this is his show, and basically, Russell Westbrook is coming up under him. So that flip in power or whatever it is, is where Russ has to settle in at. He can't come in with that, I'm going to make this my team, sort of. That's going to cause. So
I agree with that.
That kind of thing that you got.
That is a dynamic that I feel like, especially when you working in the league, it's like I don't think people realize sometimes the human side to the league. Like things like that have a huge effect on you when you go out there on the basketball court to play. Like last time we was on the team, you was coming off the bench. Now you talking about I'm an MVP. and I'm the man. I'm coming off averaging 36 points. You come up 36 points, semifinals exit. You coming off getting pretty much embarrassed in the first round. So like, this is my team, my franchise. I've been here. You got to fall in line with me. But again, I think that because of the fact they played together before, I think that like, and I would
both LA boys.
Exactly, and like like I would hope that they would have attained some friendship throughout the years and kept a friendship, and I think it'll be fine. Yeah. I don't think you'll see the alleged power struggle between those two.
Yeah, I mean, I think they understand. LA cats are different, man. All the players that I've ever had that was from LA, they different.
LA people are 100% different.
Different. But when they're from here, it's sort of like. Sort of this unspoken bond, what have you, and they're interesting.
Very respectable. So we've talked a little bit about Giannis. I kind of moved a little bit, just skimmed over a little bit. Like when I don't think Giannis is anywhere near the player that he can become. What would you like to see Giannis get better at doing to take his game to an even higher level?
Well, I think that he has to work on his outside shot. He's got to work on his mid-range shot. He's got to work on eventually knocking down the three, and not being afraid to do it. Because now you sort of see his little hesitancy to just pull up and shoot. He always really wants to just get to the basket. So when you become a threat, with an outside shot, then that opens up the middle for him to do those other things. Because people have to respect your shot from 15, 17 feet, which again, you knock down a few of those, then they're running at you now.
Now you can pump fake.
Go do whatever you need to do, what have you. So I think right now, pretty much they sort of double up on him, and they set the wall up on him, what have you. And, he's long, and he's big, so he's able to get up over people, what have you, but you don't want him to get hurt either. So
that's my thing too.
He's got to learn how to preserve himself, because he's not going to be Superman his whole career. So he's got to learn how to just be consistent in those other areas of basketball, like mid range, and then eventually stepping back and knocking down a few threes. And once he gets comfortable in knocking that down, then he'll really, 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 really reach his potential.
I agree. Like I think Giannis has potential to be one of the greatest players ever. But the issue, I'm with you. I think even more important than the 3-point shot, it's like the mid range game. Even if he could post you and just shoot a turnaround fade away, who could block it?
Right.
He's so long. He's so long and athletic. Nobody's gonna be able to block that shot. So he just needs something that when you can't. And you can't, again, I'm with you. Even when he Euro steps down, man, there's too many bodies in the lane. You Euro stepping everywhere. You step on somebody's foot. It's a sprained ankle. Who else knows what could happen? Because there's just so many bodies in the lane. My thing is, you need a game more important than the 3-point line. Because I don't even want that man standing out. I think him standing out there taking 6 threes a game takes away from what he's extremely dangerous at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't. Eventually you step back into the three, what have you, knock down a few, but I think right now he just needs to be consistent with his mid-range game.
I agree.
And I mean, let's think. There's guys who made millions of dollars with a great mid-range game. Tim Duncan wasn't out there shooting threes. This was all 15 feet.
Yeah. Off the glass.
You know what I'm saying? 15, 20 feet. So
Kawhi won the championship with him.
Yeah, so, Dirk, for the most part, he worked off the elbow. It was 15, 17 feet. So it's not like, you have to have a three in order to, be successful. I think that if he works on, his little floaters and, just jump stop and pulling up, knocking those down consistently, he's going to be a lot more effective, and he'll have a longer career.
I agree.
So that he can break some of those records.
I agree. But I'm happy because I think that's what's wrong with basketball today. Sometimes people just get so caught up in oh, we want to shoot threes. But there's a whole area of the floor that if you get really good in and you can navigate in that, you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
I promise you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, Pat Ewing, he was another one. I mean, there's a lot of ball players that made a lot of money from 17 to 15 feet.
Michael Jordan.
He wasn't and again, another example, he was, he eventually moved back to the three.
Yeah.
But, he started off as aggressive, going to the basket, dunking, what have you. Then he had to, figure out his little mid-range game. Once he got his mid-range game down, then you started to see Michael shooting threes. So it was like a progression that you see in their development. And each year you got to come back with something different, something to offer, your team, offer yourself. And then offer, to your opponents, because they scouting you. They got all the film on you.
That's all.
So they know all your little idiosyncrasies and everything else, what have you. I remember one time. This is when AI had been traded to Denver, and we went up there and played, and Chris Paul sort of embarrassed him, right? And after the game, I was like, "Damn, you just killed AI." That's the man that stood back on Jordan and all this other kind of stuff.
What year was this?
Right?
Oh
man,
07, 08?
About 07, what have you. And he was like, "Jack, he's all right-handed." And I was like, what? He said, yeah, he's all right-handed. Like, if he goes left, he's going to put the ball down once or twice, and then he's going to pull up. But other than that, he's going to get back to his left. But the thing about AI, he's so quick that you don't really pay attention to the fact that he's just all right-handed. So he just sat on his right hand and picked him, all night, what have you. And I was like, damn, that's like the new age, So like when you see these players, they got younger players that, like Chris and D West, whatever, they scout you. They watch film. When I get off the bus, hey, they go into the video guy and say, hey man, I need tonight's film so I can study. I need tomorrow's. I need whoever you're gonna play. I need their film, what have you. So Chris's biggest nemesis was Darren Williams early on.
Oh my God, Darren Williams used to. Oh my bro, Darren used to destroy. Darren used to
the yellow.
Darren used to go crazy.
Darren used to destroy CP3, and like it used to hurt me because literally I was after growing up, because like I'm always been a fan of guards, right? Because I'm a small guy, so when I play basketball, I'm always playing point guard, something like that, right? So after Allen Iverson kind of got traded, and it was like, damn, like AI off the Sixers, CP3 was my guy. Like literally, I've been watching CP3 at Wake Forest, like. Literally, CP3 was even more than LeBron at that point. Was my favorite basketball player.
Oh, no doubt. He is. Hey, Chris Paul is an exceptional ball player. He's an exceptional ball player. Some of the other stuff, in terms of personality and getting along with players and, different staff and that kind of stuff. That's, hey, it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. Because I've had my situations when I was coaching where you don't necessarily get along with players, you don't get along with management, what have you, but you stand for what you stand for. So it's tough. It's bigger than just a sport.
I agree.
That a lot of people don't understand when it comes to professional sports and particularly basketball. There's stuff that goes on off the court. There's stuff that goes on with players' families. Also with their personal lives.
True. With the
some of them got some demons, man. They got some demons.
Like even like DeMar when he was talking about like, yo, I'm depressed. Yeah. Like that's a real thing. Like that actually might I don't want to say that like affects him and like on the like basketball court, because I don't know for sure, but it might.
Well, it's like professional sports is like boxing, man. You got to think there's millions and billions of people trying to get, and in the NBA there's only 300 positions, so that's 300 jobs in the whole world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's tough, and when players navigate the system and they get to a certain level, there's all kinds of triggers that go off in your brain. And some of them actually, they probably have like a little survivor's remorse, particularly if you're coming from like really bad situations. All your boys ain't make it, you're doing this, you're doing that. So like for them, sometimes it's sort of like, damn, like why am I so blessed, what have you? So then that starts to depress them, what have you. You be thinking to yourself, nigga, you got $100 million. What are you depressed about? Like, this, that, and the other, what have you. But money don't solve all of those problems, so you gotta, it's tough being a star, man. It's really tough being a star, the responsibility of that. And a lot of times what the athletes don't realize is that they are held to a different light, so their, some of the personal things and some of the things that they're used to doing and what have you. They just aren't acceptable. With what the responsibility is they've been given. So, they got to navigate a lot. That's also with celebrities, man. Like we look at them from a monoscopic view a lot of times. Like, oh, that's my favorite person, and this, that, and the other. And then when things go wrong, we're like disappointed, what have you. But these people have the same issues and problems that a lot of us have, not necessarily financial, but there's some stuff that you're not exempt from. You think about some of the basketball players that are really macho and this, that, and the other, and they got gay kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I don't think that was their wish. Not that they don't love them or anything like that,
Yeah.
but all the money that they had didn't exempt them from that. You know what I'm saying? So you think about that kind of stuff, what have you, and that's a whole nother emotional kind of, to having that kind of limelight on you, what have you. So it can be tough, what have you, and you just hope that you have the right support around you, and people that when you start getting out there in space, the people that can come beam you in and be like, hey, listen, Scotty, you done went out there a little too far, I'm your boy and shit, but some of that shit you're doing is fucked up. We don't need that, like, you gotta have them, you can't have the ones that's like, yeah, nigga, let's do that. But they got that too, because you got a lot of money now, you got girls that's, they not sincere,
I mean, even for me, just like, working in, like, just the, like, transitioning from being a fan to like just working like around the media, like you see things a little bit differently. Like even when I like might see somebody in the locker room and I see them in the club a couple hours later, it's like you just see things a little bit differently, and you realize like they're actually human. So like the human nature and like the human side, it has to trickle into the locker room, because again, these are just human beings. Or even you see people like this, which is why like I know that the Clippers have a dope culture, because like every time I walk in the locker room, like they're cool. Like everybody's talking, everybody's laughing. It's a cool atmosphere. I remember the first game I ever covered. It was T-Wolves Clippers. It's like right before Jimmy got traded. I walked in the locker room and it was the most awkward thing. I was like, yo, they have to trade Jimmy. Like it was like everybody was on one side. Like all the old boys, like they kind of like Luau, D-Rose, Taj, Jimmy was all on one side. The rest of the team is like over there, and like nobody's talking. It's like them talking and nobody else. I'm like, yo, this is horrible. I know if I played on this team, I would be so annoyed. Like I don't want to come to work. Like, I physically do not want to come to work because this is just a terrible situation. As opposed to you walk in the Clippers locker room last year, it felt like you was in like a high school locker room. Like everybody was cool, laughing, joking, telling jokes. Even after losses, like nobody was really mad. Mm-hmm. It was just like everybody was a chill. Hey, you know what? We lost this team thing. Like whatever, we'll get over it. So I can like even just tell like the difference between a culture that's good and solid and something sustainable as in something that's toxic. Like just even being on the other side and just from the capacity that I've been in it.
No, you do have to have the right culture, and that all starts from the top. So it's cool though. Yeah. It's cool to have that experience.
Yeah, I agree. So before we get ready to get out of here, we only got a few minutes left. Let's go ahead. Let's take some fan questions. Yo, shout out to Eric Ramsey for donating. We appreciate you. Once again, the homie SKR, then your Av 86. We appreciate you. Got a question from Glue Entertainment Consultants LLC. It says, top 3 best dressed players in the NBA. Let's see. I'm going to go with...
It depends on like what type of style you like though as well.
I mean, with my particular style, I'm gonna go with LeBron minus.
No, G. Bron don't be getting.
Stop. You can't tell me what the fuck my style is.
All right.
I'm gonna go with LeBron. I'm gonna go with LeBron minus the tuxedos and the suits that he wear. Anything non-suit involved, including when he wore the suit jacket with the hoodie in it, no, fam. Not going off that. I'm not saying LeBron's the best, but I'm gonna go him up there. I'm gonna go with the Brody and I'm gonna go with the beard. Even though half of the shit Russ wears, I would never wear.
I gotta go CP3. I think CP3 gets fits off. I gotta go.
I've never heard anybody say Chris Paul can dress. I'm sorry.
Nah, G. When he did the Texas Ranger fit, it was a fit, bro. I put that fit on, G. Nah, but it was a fit. CP3. Man, who else gets fits off? obviously you got to put like Russ in there. Obviously, I think Russ is probably when you think about NBA fashion, you got to like think about Russ. And lastly, oh man, who gets fits off? I would PJ Tucker. Tuck.
I'm not upset at that. Who you got, Jack?
I would go with LeBron. I would say Chris is stylish. Chris, does a good job. I would say Iman Shumpert or.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Fair. Shot Shump. Crib legend.
And James Harden.
And James Harden, I'm not mad at that.
Fair.
I like
Russ and Harden gonna have a fit off all year. Russ, Harden, and PJ Tucker on the same team, fit off all year. Fit off.
It's gonna be a
fit off all year. All year.
Hashtag fit off.
Fit off all year.
All year long.
All year.
Yeah. So shout out to Glue Entertainment. All right, we got one from Oliver O'Kenyek. You're in our good graces now since you apologized to Scott. He said, "Will Kyrie ever win an MVP or be first team All NBA in his career?"
The only year he could probably win MVP is maybe this year. If like the Nets do something crazy and end up like the third or like the second seed that we don't. I think this year, I mean, if Kyrie comes out, especially because nobody's really talking about him.
Yeah.
I feel like if you poll people like who's MVP candidates, and it's like nobody's gonna say Kyrie right now. Like I said Kyrie last year, which I still think if they were a better team, he would have got. I mean, if you look at his stats were great for the regular season. But if they were a better team, he might have got some votes. But I think first team All NBA is like doable, depending on like, I mean, how good the Nets are. I think it's doable. I mean, he was second team this year.
He's going to make it over Curry. He's going to have to make it over Harden, over Westbrook.
He could make it over Steph one year. Not this year though, because Steph is gonna have 5
years.
No, not this year. Because Steph, barring unless he gets hurt, is gonna shoot enough shots to put up crazy numbers. Mm-hmm. But now I think MVP is a possibility. I know why he consistently asked me this. I would probably say no, but if there's any year for him to do it, it's probably this year. If he can come out, get the Nets to like 53 wins, they end up like second, third seed, something like that, he'll be in a voting for it, possibly. All
right, cool. And let's see. SUH TV says, so y'all just gonna ignore us? Yes, we're ignoring y'all, Scott. We already know what y'all up to. Y'all up to no good. But shout out to y'all for watching it. So once again, thanks, Jack. We appreciate you for coming through. Definitely.
Real quick, I gotta ask you this question. I'm meaning to ask you this. Kevin Durant, man had the ice on the Achilles. They said it was the calf. Do you think Kevin Durant should have played in Game 5 of the Finals?
I mean, hey, he's hurt now, right? I mean, he's recovering from Achilles rupture. So, early on, whether it was a soleus strain, which attaches into the Achilles.
Thank you.
He, he was at risk. What kind of therapies they did, I mean, we don't know. That was all in-house, closed, or what have you. The other part of it is Kevin wanted to play too.
Yeah.
So we can't blame, the situation on the team sometimes when you got the heart of a warrior who oftentimes, hey, they may not give the doctor the right feedback. They may tell them, say, no, they could be hurting all they want. But they may not tell you to be like, yo, like, no, I feel good, I can go, this, that, and the other, what have you. So, we can't account for that.
Yeah.
So, but it's a bad situation, definitely.
Would you have played him? Would you have recommended he play or let him play under the circumstances?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what his, how bad it was.
Do you think it was irresponsible to say that there was no further risk of him playing? Knowing what you just said, which attaches to the Achilles, you think it was irresponsible for the doctor to say we found no further risk?
Well, again, like I said, I mean, there's too many other things that could have went into that. I wasn't there, with that conversation. And only the medical staff and KD know what that went like. So we can make all the assumptions in the world, but again, at the end of the day, we know that He did rupture his Achilles tendon. He had to have surgery. He did not re-sign with the Warriors.
He took a Julius Randle contract left to get away.
And he went to New Jersey,
he did,
New York, or Brooklyn, or wherever
that did happen.
It is. So we know that much.
He took a Julius Randle contract less to get the fuck away from Golden State.
Yeah. So I mean, and I know that he and Draymond had a couple little fallouts and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was one of those situations where he went into it knowing, hey, this is a good team. We're gonna make them a superpower. But then when he got there, I mean, it was still Steph Curry's team.
He said he liked it though, but that's clear. It was clear he clearly wasn't being truthful with himself and with everybody else when he said that.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey. He can now, be a part of a team where it's his.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyrie's there, and shout out to Sean Marks, who used to be one of my players. He's the general manager over there.
Yeah, shout out to Sean Marks. He's done a great job of turning that around because that KG
wizard.
Paul Pierce.
That's the worst trade in the history of basketball.
Yeah. We see you brought a shirt. You want to talk about what you got here on the table?
Yeah. So essentially, this is my shirt for.
Let's go ahead and show it to the people.
Show it to the people.
Inchworm.
Okay, Inchworm, right? So essentially, what the app is, it's an augmented reality app, and I'll explain that a little bit differently than virtual reality. Virtual reality is when you put the goggles on and you go into a space. Augmented reality is where you actually bring things to you. So actually, about 5 years ago, sort of when I was still training. I was training Jamie Foxx and a few people for some celebrity stuff, what have you. We would go out, and do some drills and things of that sort, what have you. And I sort of came across a situation where one of the guys we was training, I went and walked off 10 yards, walked off 20 yards, walked off 40 yards, what have you. And we did some sprints and everything, what have you. So we were doing the sprints, and the times were kind of fast for his age and this, that, and the other, what have you. But he felt like, he was going to be a little bit boastful with his times, and he went around talking about, I ran a 40 at 4.8 and all this other kind of stuff, what have you, right? So he says this to what's the guy's name? The Green Machine, Draymond Drummond. Anyhow, one of the Olympic athletes, what have you. So he says this to him, and he's like, man, get the fuck out of here. Man, you did not run a motherfucker 4.8, 40. So, anyhow, he takes him down to the area where we did the sprints. He's like, motherfucker, that's not a 40. So, dude was like, well, comes back to me, man, you said that my times was this and this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. I was like, man, it was a walk-off 40. Shit, this ain't a football field. This is a damn field. This is open space and shit. I just took 40 steps. So he's like, oh, man, that's fucked up, man. I thought you got me embarrassed and so on and so. So I like walked away. I was like, man, fuck you. But at the same time, the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, like, all these trainers and all the stuff I've done, what have you, we wind up walking off the distances and stuff. And this shit's not really accurate, because if I take 10 steps and you take 10 steps, we're going to wind up in two different places, right? So I started thinking, I said, hey, man, there would be an easier way to measure stuff, what have you, particularly in sports, because all courts and all fields are based off of distance, right? Measurement. So I'm sitting there thinking, so anyhow, I decided, you know what? I want to come up with this app and sort of change the culture of the way we train in short distances. Because, I started looking at some of the apps out there, and you got Under Armour Record, you got Map My Run, Map My Fitness, you got Fitbit and all this other kind of stuff, right? And basically, when you get your feedback, it just kind of show you a course of where you went, and then it tell you, how many miles and how many calories you did. But I know in terms of training professional athletes and training athletes, what have you, if you ask one of them, if they're not a runner or a cross country, whatever, athlete, what have you, if you ask one of them, you say, hey man, we're going to run 3 miles, we're going to run 4 miles, they're going to look at you sideways. They're going to be like, why am I going to do that? So it got me to thinking that a lot of those apps and stuff are for weekend warriors, right? But when athletes train, they usually train within the court or the field of their sport. So they're doing basketball, you're doing suicides, you're doing 17s, you're doing 10s, this, that. But they're all on a basketball court, right? So, and that's how you condition. So I was like, you know what, man, like I would like to be able to, in some way, be able to set up an app that kind of showed, demonstrate that. So now you could train anywhere. So I got with some people, what have you, and some partners of mine, and we actually came up with this app, Inchworm. And basically the app will allow you to, one, measure out, you know, whatever distance it is that you train or work out in. But then also you can create any kind of court or field of your sport to scale through your phone. Okay. So if you want a football field, you want a basketball court, what have you can basically go on your phone, click on the app, and then go to fields, what have you. If you want to put a tennis court up on the beach, or you want to put a volleyball court up on the beach, or a soccer field, you can put it all up right to scale.
Okay.
So
it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. So that's pretty much like the app. But then, like in terms of training of the culture, what have you, like you work out.
I need to work out more.
Okay. You work out?
I used to until I tore my hernia.
Okay.
Again, for the third time.
Get back into working out to save your life. No, seriously. You should make that part of your.
Yeah.
I walk a lot. I'm more of a. I don't work out a lot, but I'm an active walker. Like when during the work day, I try to at least like go and take a couple walks and at least walk like 2-3 miles a day.
Okay. Well, like
I'm not like running, but I do. I try to stay active, but I haven't been working out because I tore my hernia last year and I've been just trying to recover. But I need to get back in and actually start working out again.
Well, for those people that that do work out and they do sprints or they do lunges, they do crab crawls or they do sled pushes and that kind of stuff. Like a lot of times, man, like you'll just be doing shit just to be doing shit because your trainer said the shit was to do that and it's hard, what have you. But it don't have like no real methodology behind it. Yeah. So, like in this way, like instead of let's just take something simple as lunges. Okay, a lot of times people will take 20 steps. That's 10 on each leg, right? Well. If you want to progress your workout, somebody add another set, okay? You add another, a couple reps, what have you. But if you do it by distance, then you can sort of progress it by distance, right? Because distance is going to be the same no matter where you go. Steps is going to be by perception. So if you take 10 or 20 steps in the hallway, in your apartment building, they're going to be shorter than 20 steps that you take on a football field. But if you know the distance, it ain't gonna change. So basically, like in my warm-ups and actually when I even do my dynamic training, I was interested to find out, and I don't have a huge space in my gym. It's probably, I take a little piece of the track, what have you, and I just measure out about 30 feet, which comes out to about 10, 15 yards, somewhere in between there. And after I finish my dynamic warm-up, man, I realized that I've basically warmed up on 2 football fields because I know the distance. So now if I go to New York or if I go somewhere else, what have you, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not just up in the gym like, I better take 10 steps this way, 10 steps this way, 10 steps this way. So it's a cognitive way of training, what have you. But I feel like for athletes and for trainers, what have you, if you really want to service your clients better than the short distance stuff, what have you, that we do, needs to be scaled, needs to be, a little bit more thoughtful. Because, you ain't going up in the weight room and just picking up some weights you ain't never seen what the measurement on it is, right? Is this a 25-pound weight or 35? It look like a 25-pound weight. Drop that shit on yourself. You wind up with a hernia or something, right? And you know by the number of reps and the number of sets you did, what have you. So it just makes sense to do it, sort of that same way when you're talking about these short distances, because it's already done for, long distance stuff, what have you. So, Inchworm.
So make sure you go check out Inchworm. Special thanks to Jack Manson. We appreciate you for coming through. Tell the people where they can find you on social media.
On social media, you can find me on Inchworm right here. But if you want to find me in my fashion brand, look me up on Jack Manson Inc.
Yes, go check him out, Jack Manson Inc. It's your boy TPJ. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Real TPJ. It's REEL TPJ. It's a film joke. If you don't get it, you're dummy. And as always, it's Hoops and Brews. If you're over 21 over 18 in Canada. Shout out to y'all in Canada. Drink responsibly. If you're under 21, you better not be fucking drinking. Don't do it. It's wrong. Drink responsibly. Make sure you call an Uber. Don't drink and drive. As always, it's Hoops and Brews. We drink beer. We talk basketball. Summertime, nice and hot in LA. Pavy, go ahead, get your plug in, and
always,
let's get out
Follow
of
me
here.
on Twitter at Pavy World, Pavy World, all one word. Pavverse Volume 2, July 26th.
Yeah, once again, shout out to everybody that was in the live chat, super chat that donated. Shout out to Eric Ramsey, Skinnier Than Your Average, Glue Entertainment, and shout out to Oliver for being as disruptive as you always are, Oliver. We'll get up with you all next time. Thank you, guys, and we'll holler at you next time. Hoops and Brews, episode number 153. Peace out.
ID, so fuck boy, don't try me. I keep wondering why they mad at us. We the late show, like Jerry Buss. I'm hooking up just like Kareem, shaking haters off, just like the dream. Yeah, yeah. We gon' slide, and we gon'